Okay, guys, it's Dr. Ryan, and today we're going to talk with one of my longer standing patients about his experiences with the clinic before and after. I'm going to go ahead and let Glenn tell a story. So, Glenn, why don't you start with a little bit about yourself? You know, where you live, what you do, your full name.
My name's Glynn. Live in North Mississippi. I'm 48 years old. I'm the general manager of a truck dealership. We sell, big trucks and school buses and lots of big fun things like that. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, Glenn, let's talk a little bit about your experience just prior to starting with Summa Up. What were some of the problems that you were trying to solve? And I'm asking in particular some of the external issues, like things surrounding your job, your family dynamics, as well as internal issues like your energy levels, motivation, and mood.
Yeah. So, I've always kind of been an active guy, particularly in the gym. I've generally worked out since I've been in my teens and kept that up in some form or fashion. And so I guess maybe a couple or a few years back, early to mid 40s, I just began to notice that my workouts were just not very good, honestly. They were declining. My recovery was not real good. I was not able to be as intense in the gym as I once was. And my overall energy levels just were not good. And it gradually happens over time. So, it's not something that you notice all at once. So it probably started happening, honestly, before that. But I guess that's about the time that it really became noticeable for me. My sleep was not as good. And all that kind of led to me having kind of poor moods, honestly, and kind of being a little more irritable. And, my concentration wasn't as good as it once was. And so, all these things, I kind of noticed them all at once, but that just led to problems. At work, honestly, you perform better when you feel better, right? And I just kind of lost a little bit of that. And so I was more irritable with my friends, my family, all those things. That's really what kind of stood out and kind of started me to thinking about, how can I improve myself and what's going on here, really.
I see. I see. And you kind of touched upon this generally, but give me some specific examples of how these problems negatively impacted your family dynamics as well as your work. You mentioned that you were a little more irritable. Did you think in some ways this affected your ability to retain clients or bring in new business?
With the family life, obviously, that doesn't lead to good relationships at all. When you have, my wife certainly noticed I had a shorter fuse, and so I have three children and was less patient with them, which is never a good thing. The same thing with coworkers, with employees. Just I was not easy to work with, and that definitely caused problems. It was not optimal for sure, And then, of course, with my job, I deal with customers at all levels. And you can't have, if you have a short fuse or you irritate a customer, you lose a customer, right? And so that's definitely a problem. And so, those are definitely things that I wanted to improve upon, and that would certainly help my work when I'm better able to deal with, stressful situations or, trying times or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, how that would have made a big difference in terms of your outlook, both at home and in your career. This is more of a general thing, and I can kind of guess how your feelings were, but I I am a big believer that our feelings are linked to our actions, and of course, our actions are really linked to our results, right? And so this is important for me to understand. How did all of those issues, the fact that you weren't able the irritability that was perhaps affecting your ability to retain clients and being short with your wife and your children, how did that make you feel as a whole?
So it's certainly not the person I want to be. And that was disappointing, to myself. I mean, I wasn't living up to my own standard, of being a good husband and friend and family member and, father, all those things. So, it leads to overall negative feelings about yourself, and just a poor self-image. And so that's certainly not what you want to be, for sure.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Okay, so let's switch gears for a minute. So you were in the situation that you certainly needed to work on. What made you finally decide to go out there and be like, hey, I need to fix it. I need to actually seek treatment.
Yeah. So, like I said, it gradually happens over time, and you kind of are told this is just part of aging, right? Just accept it. It's kind of, this is what happens, right? And I guess when I came to that realization and started noticing all these things were happening, I just, like I said, I decided that's not who I wanted to be. I mean, I didn't want to be the guy sitting in a recliner with a remote control all the time, right? Not never doing anything, and it's just gradually declining. And so I decided I was going to change it. I didn't know how to change it, but I knew I needed to do something, right? So I started honestly looking at, diet and supplementation type things that might help me, give me more energy, help me do better or whatever. And that's when I came across some information on low testosterone. Really didn't know anything about it before that. And so, the more I began to see that and read about what it is, how it affects your life, and the symptoms that come along with it, the more I began to realize this kind of is describing me to a T, right? And so I'm like, this is something I probably should explore. And so, I just decided I owed it to myself to see, try anything that would, help me be a better person. So I began to, research on, what it was, how to treat it, those types of things. And finally just decided, that I needed to do this. The problem I ran into then, though, was in the area that I live in, there's not a lot of treatment options. There was a local clinic, a chain clinic, I'll say, that offered these treatments. And so I felt like that was kind of really my only option. And I actually started with them. And, I just was never happy with it. It was not a good approach. It was very generic. It was very cookie cutter. It was just, one size fits all kind of situation. It was not very convenient, the way they approached it. And so I just knew there had to be something better, and so I've continued to do research, and that's when I became aware of telemedicine, and that was an available option.
Well, once you started that journey to seek out a better alternative, how did you actually find out about Summa Up and myself? And what were some of the obstacles that you needed to overcome to, basically get over the inertia of moving from one clinic to another?
So I was actually on a message board, I think, for Men's Health when I first became aware of Summa Up and you, Dr. Ryan, and someone had posted a review of working with you. It was a very positive review. It just caught my attention, honestly. And so I was looking at providers and what options were available. And said, hey, this is maybe something I should check out. So that drove me to your website. And from there, read some articles you had posted, some blog posts, and just was very, very impressed with your knowledge and the information that was on there. I saw that you were a physique competitor. I'm like, hey, this guy knows his stuff, right? So that was interesting to me as well. And again, I knew that the other approach was not fulfilling my needs, was not the best that I could do. That's when I decided to book the initial consult with you. That first meeting just really sold it, honestly. It blew me away. The amount of time that you spent explaining your process and your approach to treating individual goals and needs. I mean, those were just exactly all the things that I was looking for. Thing I wasn't sure about with the telemedicine was the accessibility. Am I going to be able to get answers when I need it? Am I going to be able to address issues as I need it? How much interaction is it really going to be, right? And so then after that consult, when you described, the ways that we would connect with each other, and then the blood work reviews, all those things, the consults just really put me at ease. And that's when I decided, yep, this is the place that I need to be.
Well, great. Well, I'm glad that you took the chance on us and you made the decision to join. So let's talk a little bit about some of the changes you experienced after you joined the clinic. So what were some of the main changes you noticed in your body and your overall health?
And I like to point out to people who have questions about this, it's not an immediate thing. It's, it can be a process. For a lot of guys, it takes some time to find out exactly what works for you and how you feel best, right? Once I got all that dialed in, I felt great, honestly. I felt like I regained my old self. Really, all the symptoms that I was having went away. My workouts improved, my intensity improved. I started making progress in the gym again, which, I had just been so flat for so long, and so to be able to go in and really push the weight and get results, man, it was awesome. Like I said, I've been doing it since my teens. So it's a big part of my life, and I really enjoyed it. And to be able to get back to where I wanted to be with that was huge for me. And the recovery was great. And so the aches and the pains and all that stuff that I, just really got better. And so, my libido improved. All those things did. I was even able to drop blood pressure medication,
Oh, wow.
because I improved so many, aspects of my health. It just, that was a huge factor for improvement for me. I just felt good again. And therefore, my mood, my confidence, all those things, I just felt like I got back to where I wanted to be.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of brag on you a bit because you have made such an enormous change. And here's a picture. So at the clinic, we have a program called Lean for Life. And this is a picture of what Donald looked like when he started the Lean for Life program. And he has just made a tremendous amount of progress. Here's a picture from when he was just about at his leanest. And it's just incredible, like the changes made. And you can actually see right here the data in terms of your weight loss and your waistline. So it's been almost 50, you've lost almost 50 pounds, which is kind of crazy. And you can kind of see this right here. So let me go pull this up. The 6-month gradation. Yeah, it's just like a nice steady drop, right? And you can even make it a little bit longer here. But yeah, it's been just about 50 pounds here. And then for the waistline, you lost almost 10 inches off your waist, which is pretty incredible. In addition to all the changes, you probably had to get a completely new wardrobe, right?
Yeah, I did. And I was happy to do it, right? for in a good way. So.
Well, you talked about a lot of these changes and how your symptoms improved. Why don't you give me some specifics? So in particular, what changes did you notice after joining the clinic, after you were optimized, that you saw in your career?
When you feel better, all aspects just really improve. I mean, and you feel better, you perform better, right? I mean, just in everything. And so that work was no different. Again, the irritability factor went down. I was a much better manager. I could focus and stay on task. I mean, that was really huge. I mean, a big part of your day is cutting out time wasting, I guess, things and things that distract attention from what you really need to be doing, right? So I was able to do that so much better and still am. I mean, just really focus on things at hand and deal with the important things. And so that's been great. I always like to tell people that as a general manager, everybody's problem is your problem, right? And so you hear it all. You generally don't hear when things are good. You're dealing with the problems. And that's on both sides, with employees on one side and customers on the next, right?
Yeah.
So I'm much better equipped to handle that. I process stress so much better now, and so that allows me to perform better, to resolve problems with my customers, with my employees, just really all the way around. And so it's been a godsend from that aspect.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit how it changed your relationship with your family, as well as your friends, your wife, your children, and your friends outside of work.
It helped me, achieve my goal, and that was to be the best person I could be. And that's the best father, the best husband, more patient. My overall mood is just better all the time now. Again, you feel good, and that not only physically, but your confidence level, your self-image, all those things just help you be a better person. I feel like, and that's no different for me. Of course, then with my increased energy levels, I'm able to do more around the house, which leads to better relationships with your wife, especially, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm able to be more active with my kids, which is what I want to do, right? I mean, I want them to live active, healthy lifestyles. And so I'm able to kind of lead by example from that aspect. And I'm more engaged with them. And, so certainly, it's helped me be a much better, husband, father, and all those family relationships for sure.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about working towards this paradigm, from before you started with Summa, before you started your journey in terms of optimizing your hormones and getting healthier, that you wanted to achieve. And it seems in many ways you've gotten there, which is great. And now I got to ask you about your feelings, though, because as we all know, these feelings lead to the actions, and the actions do lead to your overall results. How do you feel now? Oh, just as an overall feeling.
honestly, I feel great. I feel like I'm the kind of person that I need to be and should be. I always tell people working out for me is like my therapy, kind of, and
Mhm.
it's the way I deal with stress or whatever. So going out and being able to go hit the weights, 5, 6 days a week and do it effectively. And I'm not wasting time. I'm not hurting myself. It just really overall improves my mood, elevates me so much. And then, so what that does is that just gives me overall more confidence in everything that I do and just an overall general feeling of well-being, and all those things have improved for me. Again, my confidence level, my mood, all those irritabilities down. My sense of self-worth is much better.
This might be kind of a hard question to answer because you've mentioned so many benefits that have come from working with us. But were there any other benefits that came from working with myself in the clinic that you haven't mentioned?
The Lean for Life, program was just incredible for me. I exceeded my expectations on that. I
Mhm.
didn't think at 48 I would have abs again, right? I mean,
Well, I
um,
mean, I'm going to be
so
honest. I believed in you because you fit the model. You have a very strong work ethic, and you had an athletic background. And even though you may not have thought you could achieve what you did, I could see it. I visualized
yeah.
it, and it came to
Well,
fruition. I'm not going to say I always expect this, and I knew it was going to happen, but I was fairly confident you were going to achieve it. But go on.
But I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it was really, really great. And so that's a benefit to working with Summa Up and You that you don't get with any other options. I mean, just an added benefit. Like you said, buying new clothes, that lifts your overall feeling of well-being as well, right? You feel good,
Yeah.
you look good, all those things, right? I'd say another benefit working with you guys, the weekly live streams are awesome too. I
Mm.
mean, those things are just a great source of information. The topics are always relevant, and it's impressive the amount of time you put into researching the topics, and you provide great information. And I always learn so much from those things. And that's another opportunity to interact with you. So if we have a topic that we need or a question, there it is. There's another opportunity. So that accessibility there again is just incredible. So, and then, the blood work reviews are so thorough. I mean, that's something I've never got with other clinic at all. And we go through so many health markers and elements of your health that I have so much better understanding of my own health now because of it. And not only that, I've improved so many of those elements too. So, beyond just a hormone treatment, whatever, I've improved so many aspects of my health and my weight and my strength and so many other parts of my cholesterol's better, I got off the blood pressure medication, right? I
Yeah.
mean, all those things are just some of the benefits that you really wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah, when I started the clinic, I tried to use a lot of my training through the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine and functional medicine in general, just to offer something that's more holistic than just focused on one particular hormone and dosing one particular medication. So I'm glad that you
Right.
saw the benefit of it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's an important part of it, but it's one part of a bigger picture, right? I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many systems that work together, right? And
absolutely.
contribute to your overall health. And so if you can optimize all of them, that just leads to greater benefits.
I fully agree, and I'm glad
Yeah.
you see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've asked you a ton of questions, but just kind of closing up, what would you tell someone who's watching this now and is uncertain about joining the clinic? Because, it did take you some time to finally get over your reservations and be like, hey, I've never met this person in person. I just heard about him from a forum and I've seen his website. What would you tell to that person?
Anybody that's considering, I would tell them, it's the best investment that you can make in yourself, right? And so you owe it to yourself to be the best version that you can be. And working with Summa Up and you, Dr. Ryan, you're going to give someone all the tools they need to achieve that. I promise you, if you're willing to put in the work and do your part, right? Because it's not a magic bullet, a silver bullet magic pill, whatever. You still got to, be diligent in the gym and be disciplined with the diet and those things. If you do all those things, though, follow the treatment, follow the recommendations, I promise you, you will get the results that you want. And Dr. Ryan will no doubt exceed, any and all the expectations that you have.
Well, Donald, I really appreciate you telling a little bit about your story and the experiences that you had, before, during, and after. And I hope this is going to be helpful to individuals on their journey towards, better health and hormone optimization.
I hope
Okay.
so too.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.